I was scrolling through YouTube one day when a video crossed my recommendations. I can't remember the exact creator, but it was about a fairly obscure Mascot horror game. We all know Mascot horror by this point, spearheaded by games like Five Nights at Freddy's, Poppy Playtime, and Ban. The Mascot horror genre has been dominating the YouTube space longer than many of the target viewers have been alive. If you somehow don't know, Mascot horror, as the name suggests, is a genre of horror game that utilizes a mascot, usually something child-friendly turned evil. For example, Chuck E. Cheese being possessed by ghost children.
Was that the bite of 87?
This Mascot horror game, however, was really something else. I don't really want to criticize it because apparently it was a kid's first game, and that's immensely impressive. But as I watched this video, I saw every trope from Mascot horror games ever present. Friendly looking characters, innocent things turned evil, bad puzzles, and even parkour in a game with movement that doesn't translate to parkour. And it got me thinking, what if there was a game that did all of these tropes on purpose? Now hear me out, I don't mean doing it on purpose just to replicate success in the way that a certain couple of siblings did, but I mean to replicate the tropes to make fun of them. Create a satire of the Mascot horror genre. I present to you... Okay, it's time I actually admit something. I kinda lied in the title of the video. I didn't make the game. Yet. But don't click off yet. This is the first in the series of devlogs for this process. I was really inspired by channels like Solomon Gumball and Danny, God rest his soul. And so I decided to do one for myself. First thing I gotta do is make a first-person character. It's simple and a bit sluggish, but it feels perfect for what it's ripping on. Before I get any further, I'm gonna need a general idea of what this game is going to look like, and how it's gonna play. If I don't go into this with a plan, I'm not a great artist, but when doodling some creature ideas to try and get inspired, I had an epiphany. What I was doing was the idea. If we need something innocent turned evil, what better than drawings? There's a great quote from the FNAF movie that sums it up pretty well. Drawings are the first way children learn to communicate, or some shit like that. Basically, the idea is doodles coming to life and killing people. How is that not a Mascot horror game already? Bendy and the Ink Machine did do something similar with cartoons becoming evil, but I feel like doodles and cartoons are completely different as, everyone can connect with doodling, while not everyone can connect with being a professional artist. What I mean is you connect with your own art differently than someone else's, if that makes sense. So, anyways, that's why I'm not committing copyright infringement. Okay, now that we got that distinction out of the way, I want to completely rip off Bendy and the Ink Machine for the environment. Where Bendy had an environment that looked like it was ripped from an old Rubber Hose cartoon, just like its titular mascot, I want the environment of my game to look like everything was drawn on lined paper. With a quick texture application, we got a paper world. Eventually I'm going to add props all around, but for now I just want to get the main mechanics working. Every Mascot horror game, with little exception, has two things. A mascot that can kill you at some point, and a gimmick tool that is used to solve puzzles. Poppy Playtime has Huggy Wuggy and the Grab Pack, Security Breach has Glamrock animatronics and the Fazcam and the Phaser Blaster, and Ban has Jumbo Josh and the drone. First up, I want to make the mascot. I drew up 4 main bosses for the game, each one representing something wrong with the Mascot horror genre, but I'll only show you one today as I want to keep some secrets. This is Shiggy Wiggy, the business snake. Shiggy is the most basic of all 4 of the enemies, both in gameplay and in metaphor. Shiggy Wiggy represents the oversaturation of Mascot horror and how the only thing done that's new is things that have been done before. Essentially, Shiggy Wiggy is this game's Huggy Wuggy, if the name didn't make it obvious. I want Shiggy Wiggy's gameplay, however, to be a homage to Baldi's Basics, an oldie but a goodie. He'll slowly slide towards you as you need to activate levers to beat him. Let's get started. I placed a placeholder model for him in the world and... oh, this is actually really good. I feel like the actual hand-drawn design and the next-bot feel of the enemy works really well for the theme of the game. Initially I was going to make Ban inspired 3D models, but I genuinely think this looks a lot better. Okay, we have a character model, but there's no AI yet, so there's really no danger. I could use a nav mesh to make simple AI, but I'm learning a lot as we go, so I want to do something from scratch so I can tweak it exactly how I want. While his movement will be reminiscent of Baldi, the AI for Shiggy Wiggy will be a lot less complex. My general idea is just to have him beeline towards the player in a large open forest, reminiscent of games like Slender the 8 Pages or The Forest. And with some effort, I finally get something... and with a bit of trial and error, we get something fairly passable. It's a bit stiff, but it'll do for now. Shiggy's AI was a lot easier than I had initially thought, so I'm way ahead of where I thought I'd be at this point. I made a simple E to interact system and a door button combo to go with it. I also drew up a logo and made a main menu. It's simple, but it does the job. Now there's only one thing I want to do before I end off this video, and that's adding the Gimmick Tool. I came up with a few ideas, but I really like the idea of a ball of crumpled up paper that you throw. It's just a simple projectile, but I think it's on theme and honestly quite a bit funny. After a bit of work, you get... After a little bit more work, we get something that works. There's no view model and the projectiles can't actually do anything, and the physics are a little bit off, but that's everything I'm going to add for now. I'm still pretty new to the game development scene, so I don't want to overwhelm myself in the first episode. Instead of uploading my devlogs in intervals like every month or every week, I'm going to upload them every time I get to a checkpoint in development. Basically, I'm going to set a goal for the next devlog and upload it when the goal is done. It could take a month, it could take a day, who knows? My goal for the next episode is to build a puzzle system, and if that sounds like something you want to see, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. This video was a bit short, but I'm sure the next one will be much longer. That being said, I'm not sure how long it'll take me to make it. This video took about 2 weeks of on and off work, but from here on out, this project will be taking up most of my time. Anyways, if you made it this far, hit the little thumbs up button, and I'll catch you in the next one.